Welcome to the Lesbian Romantic Podcast. This is Waking Up is Easy, Part 28.
Kate. Okay. I will leave a message this time, but you know I hate it when you don't pick up your phone. It's very unprofessional. Okay. I doubt you'll be surprised to hear John was not happy with the last episode. We had our intern produce it, and well, I am sure you noticed the quality was not up to par. He published it before I could check it. That's on me. And I want to apologize to you as well for the music under the dialogue with Usha. It was bad. That said, Kate, I get that this type of content feels unnatural to you. What I don't understand is you throwing us under the bus in your conversation with Usha. Again, that it was published. That is on me. I had to fire the intern to even have a chance at keeping my own job. It wasn't his first mistake either. The more controversial, the better for this guy. What a royal clusterfuck. But really, I don't understand why you are biting the hand that feeds you, Catherine. Now, I'm not sure how you expect the next episode to get approval. John wants to hear it before publication now. You'll have to come up with something big, if you ask me. I doubt he will pull the podcast immediately, since it would be bad publicity for us as well. Still, I have to warn you, Catherine. I have never seen John so upset, and things are buzzing on our Slack. He does not like being made to look like a fool in front of everyone. Also, what was all that about changing the past and future? I wish you would pick up your phone so we can discuss how to...
Hello, dear listeners. This episode, we're doing something different. Yes, again. Not to worry, no botched top fives. No, instead, I have a surprise guest with me in our home studio. A somewhat unexpected guest, perhaps. Welcome, Ellie. Thank you, Catherine. I am honored to be here. Thank you. You reached out to me after the last episode. Maybe it is easiest if you tell us all why you wanted to step back onto the stage, so to speak, and join me for this episode, which I really appreciate, by the way. Yes, so you sent me the last episode, as you always do, and I listened to it, and I sort of felt this sense of panic. I know what it is like to get pulled into this money-making machine of content creation. I felt like it was coming for you. Yeah. But I want to add, I am in no way saying that you made the same mistakes as I did. Clearly, you felt something was off for you. I just figured that it perhaps was time for me to share how I didn't realize any of that until it was much too late. Until it had harmed you and many others. Well, I am incredibly grateful you want to be here today. I think it is important people listen to your story. I know a lot of people still see you as the enemy, but I think they're very wrong. That's very kind. To be honest, I also felt a little responsible since I encouraged you so much to start this podcast. And you seem to regret that at times. I'm not sure that I regret starting the podcast. Perhaps I do regret the way I started it. I should have... Okay, no, wait. Can we start at the beginning and then maybe work up to how we got here together? I want to make sure we get to your story first. Sure, of course. Great. Thank you. Okay. Can you describe your life to me before you started streaming? I was always a bit of an online kid, you know? I had friends, but I mostly talked to them online. I always found it easier to chat and share online than to talk face to face. I wasn't popular in school, but I wasn't a loner either. Still, I guess I did feel alone. I think that's why I got sucked into many online communities as soon as I got my own phone. Okay, so you were very active online before you started your streaming channel. Oh yeah, I was. I felt much more of a sense of belonging there than I did in offline life. What types of online communities made you feel like you belonged? Also, I should add that we agreed in advance, out of love and respect for your parents, that we will not discuss your family. You requested this, and I totally understand. I also try to leave my family and friends out of this podcast as much as I can. Yes, obviously, my home situation contributed to my feeling alone. But my parents are kind, loving people, and they don't deserve to be blamed and shamed without consenting to share our story as a family. Of course not. I couldn't agree more. I feel the same. My parents weren't perfect, and they messed up like all parents do. Some parents mess up a bit more than most. I'm speaking in general terms now, not about your parents or mine. But I do believe that things have gotten so out of hand that we have to protect the people in our lives, even when they are part of our story. Yeah, they never chose to start a streaming channel. Or a podcast. Yes, but you only started one because I dragged your story into the online mania machine. True. So let me get to your question about the types of communities that made me feel like I belonged. Yes, please. It started with very innocent communities around some series or music I loved. Nothing special. But I quickly began to connect with people and build friendships that felt more real than real-life relationships. It took me a long time to realize this and many, many hours of therapy. Now I see that I had incredibly intense relationships that felt very real, but in essence were very superficial. It's much easier to show up for each other online with a limited view of the other person than in daily life. Does that make sense? Yes, of course. So, did you ever meet any of these online friends? Only a few. It was always a bit awkward, to be honest. I can imagine. It's like the idea of a person meeting the real person. Yes, exactly. A breathing, living person who walks and talks in a certain way. And I'm sure some people meet online and then become great friends offline too. It's just that my online relationships were too intense to then face offline reality. You know? It was almost as if the real person got in the way of the online relationship. Yes, I see how that can happen. Okay, so you got deeply entrenched in the online world. At what point did you get more involved in the conspiracy theory community? I think even before COVID, I was getting more and more anxious as I got closer to graduating high school, and somehow I got pulled into some groups that offered me things to be certain about, you know? Like what? It wasn't my fault that everything was so hard. It was the system making my life miserable. You could say that this is true to an extent. It is. That's why it's so easy to radicalize in this thought. There is truth to it. But if you're not careful, everything becomes someone else's fault. Or you become cynical. or nihilistic even. Yes, I think we all see that this happened to a lot of people, young and old. We all know people who have become incredibly cynical or angry or radical in their rejections. Exactly. I went from being an enthusiastic teenage fan of certain series to being a bitter and angry adolescent in about a year. Then COVID hit just as I was going to college, and I lost my grip on reality entirely. I was online nonstop. I started my channel in that time as a way to vent my anger. You had a lot of time to be angry. I did. In the last episode, Usha shared something about losing stories as a culture. Do you think your story of the world was challenged or cracked at that time? Do you recognize this? I do. And I doubled down, in a way. I doubled down. I mean, I went into conspiracy theories that were not mainstream per se, but they did give me the illusion of knowing what was going on, of being smarter than everyone else, you know? I was sure that I understood what was really going on. What I find interesting here, you identify as a woman and as a lesbian? I do. Two things I don't expect to see in that subculture. True. Well, I wasn't out, but being a woman sure made it harder to have a successful channel. Yeah. I got a lot of hate mail just for that. I'm not surprised. Yes, I'm sure you know what it is like. I do. Every day, I get messages from men telling me they will put their genitals in my mouth so that I will finally shut up. Yeah, that is the type of message you get when you are visible online as a woman. Maybe I'm naive here, but I always feel like these messages come from men who hate what I say. But those men would have agreed with you, I think, back then, I mean. I don't think it's about what you say for these guys. It's that you say something, anything, that you take up space. Okay. So abusive men are going to be abusive no matter what. Yes. A difficult question, perhaps. Bring it on. That's why I am here. If you suffered that kind of abuse, then why go after so many women myself? You saw that one coming. Yeah, of course. It's a question I have had to grapple with for a long time now. I knew the abuse you would suffer, and Usha, and Genevieve Pelletier, and I sent the mob after all of you anyway. I was part of the mob. Okay, so why did you? I think I had just accepted that this is the way things are. Maybe, in my mind, you deserved this kind of public shaming and character execution and abuse. If I had to endure it, surely you had to too. What did Usha and I do to deserve that in your mind at that time? I think you were part of a group of people that I had learned to hate. Once you hate someone, you don't have to see them as a human being anymore. Once you can do that, you can do anything to them. Now, Genevieve Pelletier was easy to hate. I don't think I could have hated you and Usha early on. You sort of need a road to hate, and it grows wider and wider over time. Okay, what made her easy to hate? She was rich and powerful. Women shouldn't be rich and powerful. I guess so. I think that was the reasoning, because the groups I belonged to were far less focused on rich and powerful men. But yeah, she was rich and powerful, and had become that way because of industries that destroy young people's futures. Insurance companies, addictive meds, media, inherited money. We felt like she was oppressing us. She was part of a class that stole from us, the small people. She kept a system in place that was unfair. Okay, that seems like fair criticism to some degree. Yeah, but like you said, we would go after her, and not after the many men just like her, not as much. At that point, who was we? Oh, I was part of a full-blown conspiracy group by then. Mostly men. I was seen as one of the boys, even though I never ever mentioned that I liked girls too. I sort of lived in two worlds by then. My online world of hate and my awkward offline world of having a huge crush on my roommate. By that time, I had met Hot Doc 2023 online. He was the unofficial leader of our online group and had become a huge supporter of my channel, which was really picking up. He encouraged me to make videos about Pelletier and her son. I now know that he was some guy in the suburbs with a family and a dog. Back then, I thought he was some poor guy struggling, living alone in an apartment. He lied about his age and said he had lost his job because of Pelletier, which he hadn't. Turns out, no. He had missed a promotion because he kept posting conspiracy theories about her, and he had quite a few performance warnings as well. Okay, there is a lot more I'd like to ask you about Hot Doc too. Also about your offline life and the conflict between your two worlds. But we've been talking for a while now already. Maybe we can continue talking in the next episode? How about that? Yes, of course. Okay. Great. Thank you, Ellie. Hey, how about I help you with editing this episode? We can send it in that way. Oh, great idea. Yeah, thanks. If you're listening to this, we're still live with the podcast, and I am glad that we are. I want you to get to know our friend Ellie. Some of you might find it hard to believe we are friends now, but we really are. I think she's a very brave young woman, and I am proud that she's part of our lives. Ellie's story has become part of my story. This was not by choice. I could have hated her for the rest of my life for what she did to me and to many others. But then, what kind of person would I have become? I envision a very dark cloud or a black hole of despair when I think of that person. We all make mistakes. Some of our mistakes have very grave consequences. We have to face those and atone for them. When we do, we change ourselves and we change the world. We have to repair. We have to allow for someone else to do this repair. There is no beautiful future without it. I think we can see how true that is in the world we live in today. I hope to see you again soon, dear listener. From Tip about Catherine Halifax's podcast at anonymousemail.com. 2. tips@breakthenews.com. Subject: I just got fired for exposing the real Catherine Halifax. This was part 28 of Waking Up is Easy. This podcast is listener-funded only. If you, too, want to help keep this podcast going and keep it available for people all around the world, please consider supporting the show today. Every dollar helps, and every dollar really is needed to keep going. Go to patreon.com/lesbianromantic if you are up for a monthly subscription and get some perks in return. Or if you want to give back, no perks needed, go to lesbianromantic.com/support. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for spending time with me. It's always a privilege. And I will see you again soon, hopefully in 2 weeks, on this free feed.